But there's one more area that's fascinating, and that is DNA, biological information.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. John, did you know you have 100 trillion cells in your body? Open any cell at random, and you have this famous double helix of DNA. If you were to unwind it, it would be 6 feet tall. And embedded in that DNA is a 4-letter chemical alphabet that spells out the precise assembly instructions for every protein out of which you're made. In fact, just as the English language uses a 26-letter alphabet, this uses a 4-letter chemical alphabet. In fact, there are as many words, so to speak, in each cell in your body as there are in nearly 200 years of the Sunday New York Times. If you were to read just the genetic code from any one of these cells, just read the genetic code out loud, reading 3 characters a second, night and day, it would take you 31 years just to read the code. So here's the point. When the human genome was mapped, President Clinton at the time said, "We are now learning the language in which God created life."
Yep.
And that's exactly right. It is language. Nature cannot produce information like language. It can produce patterns. You know, I live in Houston, Texas. If I go down to Galveston on the Gulf of Mexico and walk along the beach with the wet sand, and I see ripple marks in the wet sand, it is logical for me to say, oh, the wave action has created the ripple marks on the sand. Nature can create patterns. But if I'm walking down the beach and I see in the sand, John loves Mary, and a heart around it and an arrow through it, I wouldn't say, oh, the waves created that. Why? It's information. Whenever we see information, whether it's a painting on a cave wall, whether it's a computer code, whether it's a newspaper or a book, always, 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 without exception, there is an intelligence behind it.
Yeah, we had Dr. Stephen Meyer, the co-founder of Intelligent Design in the World. He got his PhD at Cambridge. And the fact is, when he came on, we did the whole program on DNA. One of the illustrations he used was, this is basically how airplanes are made. So he says, you go out to Boeing, you know, guys up there with a computer, and the fact is information is coming down the line. It's going to these huge computers that are picking out pieces here and there, and then they put together it into certain spots, and all of a sudden you start to see this airplane forming, and all of a sudden you see a big Boeing airplane that is formed by all these computers. Well, where's it coming from? It's the information coming from the line that comes up from the computer that's at the top. Information is the thing that makes the airplanes, and information is what God has put into DNA.
That's exactly right.